Alright, here we go. Welcome back to Asakuga Records of a Bastard Instructor, Anime Review, Episode number 3. Well, we're talking about the last 3 episodes of the season, per se. Yeah, kind of interesting. I got this one pretty quickly, as quick as I did, because the last episode I covered roughly, I kid you not, 6 episodes. The main reason why, because yesterday I managed to watch a lot of it because my shift didn't start till late. That's why I was able to get a lot done yesterday. 6 episodes. And now officially I have gotten this done. Let's talk about these episodes. So pretty much we have several brand new characters show up in this particular one. And the ending of the last episode, it is like, despite the fact the show came out roughly 9 years ago, there's been no season 2, but it's like, it desperately set up a season 2 that, to my knowledge, hasn't happened yet. Despite how really interesting the show is. So we have several new characters show up here. First we have the maid, who basically first show up in the second arc of the series, where she's talking to the Grand Master of the Divine, the Researchers of Divine Wisdom, who's voiced by Chris Guerrero. Yes. Which this now is the 33rd series I've now heard him in. Yes, 33rd series. And he is not the only one. Oh no, there are several new characters. And it seems like for this one, this is the first arc of the whole series where basically this is where the woman under threat is Sistine for the first time. Yeah, it's Sistine, not, her adoptive sister. Like, she's not being threatened, she's not being kidnapped. You're like, wow, something different for a change for the show. Yeah, Rima basically is trying to, briefly in one episode, but she doesn't do hardly anything here. Riel does some stuff here, but not a lot. So, basically, you just have kind of like a normal day. And basically pick it where the last arc left off. Everyone's celebrating. Riel's come closer because they kind of wrap up her emotional story arc, which was the previous one. And everyone's sent back to school. And then, of course, you have Sistine, Ryumi, and Glenn just chatting for a bit. They walk through. And then pretty much basically, because he says something Sistine doesn't like very much, she ends flying and nearly flies to a carriage. And in the carriage, basically, the occupant proceeds to use wind magic to redirect and land softly. And turns out this actually is a man. What is his name here? His name is Leos Kalos. And he's voiced by Ian St. Clair. Interesting. Yeah. Kind of interesting the fact that we have Ian St. Clair in another voiceover series. Yeah, the last one was Mushoku Tensei that I was watching the dub for, but the last bench watch series last I heard him in was Trapped in a Dating Sim, which is airing right now. Which I think it's one of only 2 that's airing right now where Ian St. Clair is part of the dub, the every One Piece. Yeah. So it's he's Sistine's fiance. Sistine's that was something we played when we were kids, and apparently Liz basically was serious about it. And then Glenn, apparently not happy with him, decided to challenge him to a duel. And they have a lecture. He says in one of his lectures, which of course basically he is being very pompous. And then they have, the first part of the duel, a magic battle, which seems very similar to what they did for the second arc of the series, except using it's very military tactics. For of course, Lowe's using 3-person cells, Glenn's using 2-person cells, and there is no winner by the end. It's declared a draw, and Letos is this is not over. We still have to deal with. And so We'll do this one-on-one next time. Yes, and then Alistair basically, Albert informs Glenn about the return of a drug known as angel dust, which that is something that I've heard a few times. Angel dust can be various different things. This one they describe as a drug that makes the users mindless husk. And Glenn is requested not to interfere with the investigation Angel does, which Glenn has no problem with that at all. And they also mention a woman by the name of Sarah Silvers, a woman who Albert points out in the first episode of this thing that Sistine looks almost exactly like her. Oh, and also that Glenn had a nickname for her, White Dog. Why? Because of her hair thing, because of her hair braid. So Sarah Silvers is voiced by Alexis Tipton. Interesting the fact that I somehow come across a series with Alexis Tipton in it. Second one in a row, kind of, because actually, well, second one Crunchyroll anyways, but yeah, last one was Iceberg Sorcerer, Shall Rule the World. Yeah, kind of interesting the fact they come across one with her in it, and this is only the 59th series. So they do bring up what exactly happened to her. So they have another flashback where they established this in the last episode where there was sort of a version of a zombie outbreak. Basically, the angels make people crazy, and she got supposedly killed. They don't confirm she's dead here. It's implied she's dead. And this is all started by another mage who is insane. Which Lados basically was once accused of being part of, well, the researchers of divine wisdom. He has nothing to do with them at all. Yeah, kind of interesting though. This is the first arc that has nothing to do with them at all. Nothing. Yeah, and we have. Oh, by the way, the person they feel responsible for the stuff for this, they viewed this in the last episode. Jealous Lofty was voiced by Damon Mills. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, where then after um, Sistine asks about Sarah, that's what explains what happened with her, and then Lana shows up demanding she has to marry him, and she has no choice in the matter because he starts threatening Rafia and Rial. So she reluctantly agrees, and well, then after this, and then of course where he brings out his fool card to take on Lados, and Lados beats him thanks to this other spell, which apparently is immune to Fool. And then they have he arrives dual location the next day, and Glenn doesn't show up. The reason is because he was busy. And then apparently apparently she has to give her research into the Southern records for reasons. So they have the wedding. And then Glenn shows up and says, I object. He says, I would have showed up sooner if they haven't skipped that part. By the way, I've actually been to a wedding where they actually did skip that part. And one of the bridesmaids collapsed because the pastor completely forgot that part. Yes. So he takes this scene away. They deal with the zombies. Her dress gets a little bloody. And she's a little shocked the fact Glenn's like killing people the way he is. He, of course, is wearing Pyramide's jacket, and of course takes off leg as referred to as a straight jacket. At least this arc he's not dropping shopping puns like he was in the last arc. And so, by the way, in case you're curious, does this scene actually hit Glenn? Yeah, she does. at the beginning, at kind of basically during episode 11, she does that, and then of course we find out that Lydos, the one who's here, is not the actual Lydos. He died after the magic battle, succumbing to angel dust. So basically, ever since that particular night where they had set up the next match with the whole, when that magic should be like, yeah, this is not Lydos, and Sistine easily figured this is not the boy. Basically, she knew when she was a child. This is not him, and yeah, and he is insane. Oh my gosh, the man's insane. And of course, you have Glenn and Sistine team up with each other, and then he gets defeated, but he gets away. By the way, he gets not knocked away against a wall that for some reason makes him look like he's pinned to a cross. Those parts of structure, and then he leaves. Talk about the Akashic records, and also apparently like, oh, this nation was found for evil reasons. I'm like, do you have proof of that, you jerk? Oh, by the way, when he was sent flying, Glenn did punch him, because of course he did. He likes punching people, really using magic. So then, of course, pretty much mostly put everything as. By the way, Riel was taking over from the zombies, and basically Albert showed up reinforcements, and well, everything's kind of back normal at the end, and then we have the mate show up, looking at possibly Azuga Records, and setting up a potential season 2 that this ending was obviously setting up. This is the second anime I've seen where there has not been a season 2. And they obviously set up a season 2 with the last couple minutes. In the case of High School Prodigies and the Heavies in the World, that one they set up in the last couple episodes. It was so obvious that basically there was going to be a season 2 that so far hasn't happened yet. And this one, I would say this happened not exactly during the course of the last couple episodes. It happened the last minute of the last episode. And it's been 9 years since the season aired. This show is really good. Yeah, really good. I've really enjoyed this one. It's kind of surprising. This only had one season. And it's wondering, why has there not been a season 2 of this thing? What was because of the scene of attempted rape? I highly doubt that was the reason why. I'm guessing it's probably due to the studio's lack of interest. They probably felt as though, and this is a common case in Japan, where if the DVD sales don't do well, we don't get a season 2. That's what happened with Chainsaw Man. That was rumored. That was never confirmed. But then we have a movie coming. Would I personally like to see a season 2 of this? Yes. Definitely. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. So I'm gonna go through a couple Toku shows next, and then I'm gonna start up a quick anime. Which is currently airing, which shouldn't take very long because the next one we get into is only 9 episodes in, so it shouldn't take me too long to get to this one. And then I'll start with another anime, which I have this one ready to go now. And I have another one, basically, it's currently airing that I'm going to get to that quickly, then start another one. Yep. So, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.